What happens after Scrum? My name is Rasmus and I am a technical agile coach at Bankdata. At Scrumday 2017 held in SimCorp, I presented parts of the work that I have been involved in and the thoughts that follows an agile transformation. On a personal level, the journey with Bankdata already started back at Scrumday 2016, where my colleague Klaus gave a talk on the agile transformation called b-agile. This talk was so inspiring that it made me jump ship and join Bankdata later the same year. What I joined was an organization under change, going from traditional waterfall and plan-driven development into agile and Scrum. It's been almost 6 months since I joined as an agile coach. The time has passed by fast and given me both opportunities and successes with the teams. What have we achieved at Bankdata? Well, Bankdata and the b-agile transformation completed by the end of 2016. During the transformation, we have achieved a higher focus on being agile and not just doing agile. We have all the mechanical parts of Scrum up and running, and the focus is now on being agile and having an agile mindset. We have real customers as our product owners. The product owners at Bankdata are employees hired at our customers. They sit with us physically on our location in Bankdata, and they do it on a daily basis and participate in all events. Our management give us full buy-in and support. They support the transformation and understand what it means to have an agile mindset. In fact, many of them are working in management teams doing Scrum to plan their work. To facilitate this, we have many agile coaches. The agile coaches facilitate the continuous improvement, and they are locally anchored around the teams that they support. On top of this, we have recently introduced something called technical coaches. The technical coaches support the agile coaches and help them to enforce strong software craftsmanship in the organization. A group of 15 internal and external agile coaches led the b-agile transformation. In the process, a 50-year-old organization was transformed, covering more than 650 employees in 100 teams. This was celebrated by eating around 690 pieces of the Danish cake called flødebolle. The b-agile transformation was a standard Scrum rollout with a high organizational impact. We started out by training the development teams, the Scrum Masters and the product owners using industry standard courses. Once a team had been trained, an agile coach, either central or local, was assigned to follow the process implementation and improvement. Together with the agile coach, each team performs continuous improvement, but the big question came up: how do we keep up the global continuous improvement on an organizational level? This led to the question in the topic of this speak: so what happens after Scrum? As an agile coach, we've seen so many organizations implementing Scrum and failing at keeping focus on the continuous improvement. Once the b-agile transformation commenced at the end of 2016, we as agile coaches was looking for the answer to what would be the next logical step. Initially, we did a brainstorm in the guild, coming up with ideas of what could come next, but was this the right list of ideas for the whole organization? Agile as we were, we decided to scrap our own list and instead invite all employees and managers to join a crowdstorming campaign. Crowdstorming is a decentralized collaborative brainstorm where we, in our instance, hung up posters on all locations and invited everyone from employees to manager to hang up post-it with their best ideas for being even more agile. This was a great help. Many of the inputs were not on the initial list from the agile coaches, but it's key that we include and involve the employees and managers to be able to improve agility in the organization and get buy-in from all parts of the company. Some of the ideas that were generated are frequent deployment. Working in sprint means that we need our platform to support shorter release cycles for production deployment. Automated test suites To enable frequent deployment, we need to assert quality at a higher speed with less manual testing. Scaling agile. We've had a focus on single team responsibility and optimization, but saw a rapid demand for frameworks and processes to aid work across several teams. End user feedback. Even though we have customers as our product owners, we were still lacking the direct end user feedback on releases. Agile management. With a strong focus on teams and how each individual team should function, we've had very little focus on management, and as such, a demand for training and definition of what agile management means in Bankdata was identified. Cross-functional teams. We all know what it means to be a cross-functional team. It means that we need to have the right competencies to fill out the product backlog. But how do we actually ensure that we have it? And if we do not have it, how do we actually get to a state where we have the right competencies? All the ideas submitted through the crowdsourcing campaign was collected and aggregated into 3 tracks shaping the b-agile 2017. The 3 tracks are business, covering anything related to customer collaboration and business interaction. Transformation, covering anything related to process and management. Technical, covering anything related to software development and tools. Looking into the competencies needed for b-agile 2017, we had a clear picture of missing competencies within the Agile Coach Guild. We saw that the majority of our Agile coaches came with a project manager, business developer, or process consultant background, making them obvious to support the business and transformation tracks. However, when looking into our competencies, we saw that only a very few of us Agile coaches had a technical background as software developer or architects. And to solve this competency gap, we introduced a new role and we called it the technical coach. Our expectations to the technical coaches are software craftsmanship, striving to be better and more professional software developers. Design patterns, knowing how to design for the future using well-known design patterns. Refactoring and incremental design, knowing how to write code enabling frequent deployment and agile delivery. Test principles and practices, knowing how to test in an agile context. Domain knowledge, having knowledge of domain systems and development tools. On top of this, the technical coach needs to team up with an agile coach in order to be coaching, facilitating, and teaching the teams to get to the state that we want to be in after the 2017 transformation. In junction, the Agile Coach and Technical Coach Guilds possesses the competencies that we need to implement the 3 tracks of b-agile 2017. In the following of this talk, I will exemplify what we have been doing so far, starting with the agile testing from our technical track. Let's move away from software crap to software craft. The statement is a bit on the edge. I'm sure that we did excellent software before, but how can we be sure? We need to work with quality assurance and agile testing in order to improve our professionalism and enforce software craftsmanship. To assist our teams, we designed a rollout consisting of 4 elements. The first element, an as-is workshop. In this workshop, we define and agree on the current situation, portfolio test strategy, and look into the risks of our teams. The next step is a training session. This one is 2 days where we look into common theoretical understanding of agile testing and this design of tests, and look into how we can adopt this into Scrum and into the principle of agility. Once the training is done, we go into a to-be workshop where we plan and prepare the future work within the team, and we sort of activate our technical coaches into this. After the to-be workshop, we go into real work, or the coaching part of it as written on the screen, and this is where the team go back into the team mode, and they work with the stuff that they've planned, and they work with the technical coach in order to implement the software craftsmanship principles and in order to improve the quality assurance of the team. Together with the Agile coaches, our technical coaches are responsible for implementing this and keeping the continuous improvement in place afterwards. The Charlie Brown model for Agile testing. One of the tools that we provide our teams with is the Charlie Brown model for Agile testing. The aim of the model is to embed quality assurance inside a sprint as an ongoing activity. Further, we saw a demand for something that was easy to learn and bring back to the teams. Taking this model, a team can easily plan tasks during refinement or sprint planning. The elements of the Charlie Brown model are: story kickoff. The team learns about the needs and demands behind the story. Mind map. Analyzing the story and how quality can be ensured in terms of functionality that needs to be developed. Test design. Choosing how and what to test in the sprint. Testing. Executing on the planned test as early as possible. Other activities such as code design, architecture, and development is executed in parallel with the activities mentioned before. This model is only here to illustrate how we want to make quality assurance tasks within the sprint. Another example from b-agile 2017 is found in the transformation track, where we looked into scaling agile and handling cross-team work. We have identified an impediment in our setup. We have organized our Scrum teams around a single software product or system, while our customers, that are banks, are thinking in processes and customer journeys. This means that when our customers have an idea for an end-to-end process optimization, they need to target several individual Scrum teams with chunks of the final solution. This is not ideal and led to the quote shown on the screen: customers work with process optimization, we work with product and system development. Trying to solve this, we looked outside Bankdata to seek inspiration and found the following conclusions. Looking in the Scrum guide, we found no help. We only found that it says implementations may vary depending on context. Scaled Agile Framework, or SAFe, is big and massive blueprint for implementing scaled Agile, and this is not very suited for our organization or the governance that we have already in place. Spotify is a hot topic in the industry, and we also looked into it, but what we found in tribes, guilds, and chapters was not a perfect match. It seems to focus on knowledge sharing and not solution development. However, looking into the Nexus framework, we found that the Nexus integration team was the closest match available, and on top of it we grew our own model. This, together with Bankdata history, where customer demands have been going on for the 50 years that we have existed, was enough for us to generate our own Nexus integration team instance. Fapuita is our instance of the Nexus integration team. Fapuita is generated to make people talk, and it's made up of the abbreviation in Danish for the needed competencies within the team. FA stands for Business Architecture, PO stands for Product Owner, ITA stands for IT Architecture. Fapuita. Fapuita comes in two different flavors. The first one is the Continuous team. The Continuous team is a permanent team with a business architect and an IT architect handling incoming requests that doesn't really belong naturally to any product backlog. To solve the task, the relevant development teams and the product owners is invited to discuss and prioritize and coordinate the work that needs to be done. The other instance that we have is the on-demand team. The on-demand team is a dynamic team that grows and shrinks over time. You start up an on-demand team whenever you get a product backlog item that require work from other teams. The first thing you do is to make sure that the right product owners are collected at the right time, and then you invite the competencies that you need from the teams around the product owners. To separate the responsibilities between Fapuita and individual product owners and the development teams, we've created this simple flow. The Fapuita team is responsible for describing needs and benefits and to gain priority across the product backlogs. Each individual product owner is responsible for prioritizing according to the agreement made in the Fapuita team. Development teams are responsible for story point estimation, refinement, coordination, and development of the solution. The final example that I've chosen is team forming from transformation track. This is supported by a quote: "Major decisions should be made by the involved people with the right knowledge." We strive to have stable teams, however, in some cases we need to adjust teams and set them off to a great start. A consequence of the agile management discipline is to decentralize decisions to the involved employees. This is manifested in our organization when forming new teams. When forming new teams, the product owners outline vision and purpose for the new product backlogs. Our managers outline the framework of empowerment. This could be where the teams are going to be physically, or how many team members they want to be on each team. Each employee then decide which team they want to belong to in the future, and they do this either by voting by their feet or do it through hidden email or however they want to do it. The important thing is that it's the employee who decide where they belong. Once the team has been formed, the Scrum Masters are responsible for handling team building activities in order to make sure that we get a good start on a high-performing team. This brings me to the summary. So to sum up, b-agile 2017 is a bottom-up initiative with great support from management. We work on improving agility in terms of the 3 tracks mentioned: transformation, business and technical. And that, my friends, is what happens after Scrum in Bankdata.